There we go.
You're listening to the Level Best Network.
This is the INTERCOT Insider Live, episode 136.
Wow.
Now in our 10th year.
Wow, 10th year.
The INTERCOT Insider Live is brought to you by the one and only Magical Journeys, INTERCOT's official travel agency, and the Disney Vacation Experts. Now, more than ever, it's important to support our partner, Magical Journeys. They bring the magic to you, and by helping us bring the magic to you by sponsoring the whole INTERCOT podcast, the INTERCOT website, everything. We appreciate Nancy and the folks over there. See, I'm just going to go with the folks tonight rather than try to start naming everybody by name. It's a little bit difficult. Tonight, in the podcast, we've got a special guest, Janet. Hey, Janet.
Howdy.
What the screen name from the boards?
Currently, Janet Megan.
Yes. Currently, are you planning on changing it or something?
The boards?
It used to be Janet Mojo.
Mojo, yeah.
Yeah, no, we like Janet. Well, Ian used to be WDW Wacky, too.
No, you get it wrong every time.
WD Wacky?
WD Wacky.
Wacky.
There was no extra
Yeah.
W. Every time.
I know. Every time.
Listen, Johnny.
Oh, Johnny. I used to be Johnny Y or John
Used
Y.
to be Johnny.
At some point, we just decided to do the whole Disney thing and just start calling everybody by their first name, right?
I think Carol was the one who actually started that. She was Polygirl 40, and then one day she was just Carol.
Yeah,
That
she just
is true.
became Carol.
Yeah, shout out to Carol and Melanie and all the other folks that have been on the show over the years. So
Jeff, JPL.
Jeff, JPL, Christine.
Yeah, Christine, right?
Michael,
Cindy, who's not here but is still here.
Michael, who's supposedly coming at some point.
He better.
Gary. Who could
Ed.
forget Gary? Ed. Well, Ed's been on the site forever. Moderator on the site. Yeah, Ed in his red shorts, I believe.
What about Frankie?
Frankie.
Frankie.
We're going down memory lane tonight, I believe it is. So, yeah, hey, good to have everybody here. We've got Jen from Canada, Ian from Philly, and Janet hailing from where now? About
DeLand, Florida.
Okay, so you moved from where to where?
North Georgia, north of Atlanta, to DeLand back in March, right in the middle of all the mess.
Oh man!
So you like I moved right in the middle of a
Yes.
pandemic, which is
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's been great. No problem.
Gives you lots of time for unpacking boxes because you can't do anything else.
Right. Well, you know what? We did say that. Had I been traveling for work and things like that, it could have been a nightmare trying to do everything that we did at the time we did it. And instead, this shutdown has allowed us to sort of move in. So that was a good thing coming out of a lot of bad, I guess. So not bad.
Hey, what else is good? It's driven real estate prices through the roof.
Well,
My house
yeah.
is worth like $40,000 more than it was in January.
Yeah, like crazy. It's gone nuts here as well. By the way, we've got folks saying hello to you, Janet, specifically. There you go. And Amanda checking in. Good to see you, Amanda, as well. Oh, look at this. Look who's joined the party.
There he is.
All right. There we
Hello.
go.
Hello, human.
Hi.
He's still getting set up there. That's all right.
All of us have to work, people.
I know.
It's
I know.
okay.
We got
But we all work. We're just in the right time zone. That's all.
Wait, work? What is work?
Right, everybody but Janet has to work.
So welcome in. Trying some new stuff. Scheduled the show in advance this time. Wanted to see if that had any effect on things.
I'll be right back.
And Michael will be right back. and he's gone.
I think he went to the
He just head
bathroom.
to the restroom. Wait, hold on, I've got a sound for that somewhere.
Got a toilet
Where
sound
we go.
somewhere.
Around the corner.
Where's Uncle Orville when you need him?
Hey, I got my
No
Orville
privacy
shirt
at all
on.
in this place. Do you have Orville?
My Uncle Orville shirt. No privacy around this.
Oh, look at that.
Oh
Wow,
my
talk
gosh,
about-
how
that's a
appropriate.
coincidence.
Oh wow, that is too cool. So Monday night, it's feeling like a Monday. I don't know about for you
Yes,
all, but
it feels
certainly
like a Monday.
goodness gracious, is here. So we wanted to bring Janet on tonight to talk a little bit about what it's like down in the theme parks. So Janet, because she lives in DeLand, which is just down the road from Disney, probably has one of the advantages that not too many else of us have. I mean, I'm 5 hours away from being able to be there. And Janet has been kind enough to be posting to our social media feeds and stuff like that over the last number of days, weeks, which has been really cool. Been nice to have somebody there. And just curious what the experience you have had firsthand. As Ian said, what do you have to like schedule each time you go to the parks now? So, I mean, how does it work? I mean, what have you kind of experienced?
Well, so I will say that we have been, my husband and I have been now to every park twice, except for Hollywood Studios. We've been to Disney Springs multiple times. And overall, 90% of the experience has been amazing.
Okay.
Yes. So we are annual pass holders. Annual pass holders can schedule up to 3 days at a time or in advance to spend in the parks. But if you're staying in a resort, you can have every day that you're in the resort, you can also have a day. So we're taking advantage of some really cheap hotel rates.
That would have
oh my gosh. Please share, because it's like the clock has wound back like 10, 15 years on rates that you were telling me.
20 years.
Yeah, 20 years or more. So unbelievably, last week we spent 4 nights at the Swan for a annual pass holder rate of $110 plus tax.
Wow.
Yeah, plus tax and parking and resort fees. So all in, I believe I figured out it was $167 a night at the Swan.
Oh my God.
It was wonderful.
Wow.
And then starting Sunday for 6 nights, we are all
here comes.
in.
Ready?
Yeah, we are all in at the Polynesian for $120 a night.
Oh my goodness.
Never even heard of anything like that. That's just
Yeah,
that's like what it costs like in like
All-Star Resort.
Yeah,
prices.
it's like
no,
the All-Star's twice
no.
that much.
Yeah.
At least.
Wait a minute. Hold on. What?
That's like dinner.
I don't get to use that sound
Yeah.
effect much. $120.
That's dinner for one person at California Grill. So
Not
that's
even-
a really good deal.
Yeah,
More
about
than
it.
that. So
my
we are taking
goodness.
advantage of being nearby, not being able to vacation anywhere else, and we are just maxing out on Disney and theme park time. My husband asked when we got home on Saturday morning, he says, wait, when are we going back? And I said, like 7 days, 8 days from now and he said, for how many nights? And I said, 6 nights. And he's like, oh no. But no, we're slowly converting him into a Disney master. But yes, so for every night that you have a Disney hotel room booked, you automatically get to pick a park for that day as well.
That's good.
So, and for an annual pass holder, you get any resort stays you have plus your 3 extra days. Then once
you can't park hop, right?
No.
Okay, that's
you
what
can't.
So
And with the limited hours, you're kind of boxed in. Once you make your decision for the day, you are definitely there for the day. And
it's better than not being there at all.
Right. As a pass holder, I don't feel bad about going to a park from, let's say, just 8 to 1 or 8 to 2, because right now it's hot. It is August. It is Florida. It is sweaty. You're in a mask. I've actually also been in a boot for the last few weeks. So it's been a lot, but
You're in a boot. What? How's that been?
Yeah, hot.
I mean, seriously, it's been
hot.
Wow.
So, but if I was paying $125 or $130 a day for a ticket right now, I would struggle a little bit with that. I don't feel bad as a pass holder going for half the day or a short day, but it's tough for a long day. And all the parks have been great. Everything almost has been a walk-on, except for the studios. The studios was packed.
So how are they doing, just out of curiosity, again, because I'm not there and things like that? Like when you get in line for, like, let's say Small World or something or whatever, a Pooh or whatever. I mean, how are they keeping you distanced and stuff?
There are lines on the concrete. They've pressure washed the concrete and stuck big long stickers. I would say they're about 4 foot long stickers that say, please wait here. And they are spaced out every 6 to 8 feet. And then sometimes when the queue winds back and forth, there's plexiglass between the people.
Like if
And
it's
whether
too close. Yeah.
right. And if there's not plexiglass there, then the spaces to wait between each other are staggered so that you're not actually standing right next to someone at all. You're always offset. And I would
So,
say most people are paying
yeah,
attention to the
that's
lines on
what
the
I-
sidewalk.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
So, I mean, are people actually doing, I mean, even in the best of times, you've got the, parents with kids who
Yeah.
aren't paying attention or acting crazy or whatever. And so I just wondered how all that, worked out.
I would say the bigger problem is people on their phones that aren't paying attention when the line
Oh.
moves in front of them. I would say overall kids are doing great. The parents are teaching their kids, you have to stand on the line. We've seen some parents making a game out of like, let's jump forward to the next line when it's our turn and then you stop.
Okay.
Sometimes every once in a while you get somebody behind you that's kind of creeping on you, like, hey, stay on your line.
I do that in Walmart, man.
Yeah,
I'll tell you,
right.
it's like somebody gets a little close to me, is like, yo, whoa, back.
Back off.
Yeah.
I find that
Yeah.
odd. Like it's such a lack of awareness of the situation. It's like, what are you doing? Like, why would you ever stand that
Get
close
off
to me?
me.
Yeah,
Well,
like don't.
Dude, I'm in like a retirement sort of area here
Yeah.
a little bit. So I've got like folks occasionally will come up, what you got in the cart? Like,
You're like
away.
COVID-19. Get away.
well, like you got a little kitty or something there. Like, dude. Yes. Okay.
It's
Now
COVID.
back 3 feet up.
COVID
Okay.
kitty.
It's okay. Yeah, I know.
It's amazing how this whole
Jara COVID.
situation has made you more aware. And now
Right.
that when people do come up on you, it's kind of like, wait, this used to be okay. And now it's like, oh, this is not okay.
Yep.
I'm-
Okay, I have a question. When
Yes.
you go on something like Winnie the Pooh or Haunted Mansion,
Why did we both use that example?
do they
I don't
like wipe off the vehicle
The wall of slime?
or like the handrail that you hold on to, or I don't know?
No, so there is hand sanitizer before you get on every ride and when you get off every ride for your use, if you so choose. They are cleaning rides at what appears to be at maybe once an hour. They'll shut a ride down for 5 or 10 minutes. You'll always notice if the line just stops for 5 or 10 minutes. You're like, oh wait, they're cleaning, and they'll maybe, let's say Splash Mountain or Haunted Mansion, they'll run all the cars through empty and spray them all down and then run them around again. So if you're in a line that maybe said it was a 20-minute wait and it's gotten to be 25. Actually, they've been estimating the lines ahead of time. So if you're in a line that says 20 minutes and you've waited more than 10 minutes, they're probably cleaning the ride.
So is pretty much everything, it's just standby? You just go stand in line for everything? Or, I mean, is that how it's working now?
Yes. So obviously no fast passes at all. Everything
Right.
is just, check the wait time. I will say again, they are overestimating wait times for the most part. We have walked on almost every ride with the exception of Splash Mountain, which has been super popular. And the studios. The studios, we waited in line for almost everything between 20 and 40 minutes.
So
Yeah.
Rise of the Resistance, you can just go and wait for that?
So that is the one exception. You still have to do a virtual queue or a boarding group. So you
Like
have to
on
be
your
in the
phone,
Mhm.
like in the
They
morning.
do them
kinda
at
deal.
right now. They're doing them at 10 o'clock in the morning and 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But I have heard the 2 o'clock groups tend to be backup groups, which is why everyone crushes into the studios right when it opens. So they're in there for that 10 o'clock group. That was definitely the busiest atmosphere that we have faced by far.
Yeah, and I'm actually disappointed to hear that, because when I heard that they were doing 2 boarding groups, I thought, well, this is actually a good idea. We're spreading things out. Like, you don't have to get up at the butt crack of dawn and head over to the parks. If you want, you could relax a little bit, have your lunch and then head over. And then, but what you're saying is you might be lucky if they get to you then.
Right. I think if Rise of the Resistance is your priority, you should still try to be there before 10. If Rise of the Resistance isn't your thing, then I would say definitely wait a little bit longer, because that was the only park that had a super huge crowd at opening. Everywhere else, you tend to get there. We're early risers. We get to the park about 30 minutes before posted opening, and they're usually already letting people in. So let's just say the park opens at 9. I would advise getting there at 8:30. You'll just walk right in. There's no rope drop. They're not holding people back. You just walk to the ride of your choice, and they'll start letting you ride.
So I'm curious because sorry, Jen.
No, I just want to know when do you get your temperature checked and all that kind of stuff?
So when you're coming in
Do
from
they use
the
a regular
parking lot-
thermometer?
No, wait, there's so many things I can say right there.
Okay, family podcast.
That's right. That's right.
No, I don't know what you guys are thinking. I meant the forehead one.
Yeah, it's the forehead thing. We have mostly been driving, even staying at the hotel, because some of the transportation between the hotels has been a little sketchy. So when you walk in from the parking lot, before you get to security, they will take your temperature. Walking over from, let's say, the Swan to the back entrance of Epcot, you'll walk past the Skyliner, wait in line for them to take your temperature, then security, and then the ticket.
Okay, so if
scan
you're
the
walking
magic
from the
band.
Swan to the back of Epcot
Mm-hmm.
in July, August, Florida temperatures, are you not like internally overheated in a mask, in a boot? So when they take your temperature, if you have one, do they set you aside for a little bit so you can cool down, or it's like too bad?
I see where you're going there.
So yeah, they have a
Overheating.
tent set aside. Yeah, for people who might be just overheating temporarily, they have a tent with what looks like fans, or maybe even it looked like a little mini AC unit in a tent. They have a place for you to sit down. I think they give you 10 to 15 minutes max to cool down and check it again, and then either. I didn't actively see anyone being turned away, but I'm sure that it happens.
I've seen a lot of videos where they debunk that your temperature doesn't get affected by
just being
sweaty. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was pretty sweaty and hot, and I was
you didn't
fine.
have a temperature?
I mean, I think
Well,
it
I had
can.
a temperature, but not a fever.
It depends on. It just depends on how severe the temperature is. I mean, you can die from being in temperatures that are too hot, and that's because your body overheats. So it definitely is a possibility. But I don't know
I'm
that
sure you can also die from drinking too much water, but how many people die from walking around Disney World, though?
I don't know. They would never tell you. It's top secret.
That's true. They send you off site, don't they?
Yeah.
And then
They drag your corpse
Urban
into the
legend?
woods, and you're not allowed to die on Disney property.
I have
Remember that was a rumor.
Really, we've
Disney
gone
World,
into dying and the corpse being dragged into the woods. Again. Really?
It's awfully early
Hey
in the
man,
evening.
it's
to
a
be
dark time in
going
American
there.
society, John. What do you want me to tell you?
I know, cheapers, creepers. Oh my! Hey,
That's all
Jana,
right, dude.
because we haven't actually asked many people about it, and really, I think I was at the premiere just beforehand. What did you think about the Runaway Railway? Did you do it?
Oh my gosh, yes. So that was maybe the longest line we stayed in. It was great. I thought it was a really great ride for the whole family. It was still kind of kid oriented, where they could appreciate the Mickey and Minnie, but it was still had enough exciting moments where adults could enjoy it too. I was super pleased. I was skeptical going into it, but I thought it just had a little bit enough of everything, like enough fun, enough fast, slow.
Right.
It
It just looks amazing. I'm so irritated I haven't ridden it.
Yeah, me too. And I don't know when I will.
It was a big thumbs up from both of us. Even my husband has never seen a Disney cartoon or hardly a Disney movie. He thought it was a fun ride and said he would be willing to wait in line to ride it again, which is a big deal.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's kind of echoing my sentiments about it. I mean, I'm still a little bit sad about the Great Movie Ride going away, just because I still love those big animatronic
nostalgia,
those kind of things. But the ride itself was definitely fun. The only odd part, and let's see whether you thought the same thing, like when you went into the one big room where there was a whole lot of open space and all the scenes were around the edge, it almost felt like you got lost in that room.
Well, I felt like the whole ride, there was a lot going on. Like, I can't wait to ride it again so I can focus a little better. I felt like every scene, every different part of the ride maybe was a little overwhelming for the first time with the movement and the movie and the changing rooms frequently. I mean, it's what made it exciting, but it did make it a little hard to follow.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. No, I think it was in the Western room or something like that, where it seemed to me like the room had a lot of space in the middle. And you know, it kind of, as you're moving around, it just felt a little strange. Where many of the other scenes, you were, you know, trailing one behind another, and you weren't, you know, all the cars weren't in the room, and so it just
Should
felt
we be
a lot.
issuing a spoiler alert?
Oh, should we? Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know, but
I mean,
it wasn't
been out forever, and the
it's not
video's
really
on.
Specific enough, yeah. But we did post the video. Ian's right.
The
so.
video's been out, so I think it's. I think the surprise is.
I just thought it was a great family ride. Really...
So does anybody know the answer to my Aunt Pat asking the question? Are they going to be resuming parades and fireworks before the end of the year? You know, does anybody have anything? I mean,
there's no official info. I just checked.
Did you?
Yeah.
I'm thinking you're going to be lucky if maybe New Year's, maybe if we're clear of this thing, maybe you might get that. But I think we're in kind of, you know, wind down, low budget sort of.
They're also too afraid about like crowding because, you know, fireworks is a nightmare anyway. So
right.
Yeah.
Well, kind of segueing into that, they announced what was it, today or yesterday, basically that they're reducing hours for all 4 theme parks in September. Yeah, Janet, I saw commented about this. So the Magic Kingdom is now going to close an hour earlier at 6 p.m. Epcot is closing 2 hours earlier at 7 p.m. So that always used to be the one where if the other theme parks closed early, you could at least go to Epcot.
But
and stay
Epcot
later.
doesn't even open till 11.
I know, right?
So it's not like it opens at 9 and closes at 7. It's 11.
So it's 11 to 7.
To 7.
Okay.
And
Hollywood...
the poor restaurant wait staff, it just kills them.
Really?
I mean, they're just now getting going again. The wait staff at the restaurants in Epcot, we talked to a couple different waiters and waitresses, and they're just now getting going, making some money again with being open till 9. They can have a regular shift, and basically now they're telling them they're going to have a shift that's maybe only 2 hours.
2 hours shorter.
Yeah.
Plus Food and Wine's coming up, isn't it? I mean,
I thought it started.
It's already going on.
Oh my gosh,
they're doing it.
They started it when it opened.
So out of touch. Yeah, it's just amazing.
It's kind of a weird combo. It's kind of like the Flower and Garden Festival and the Food and Wine Festival got together, and they had a baby festival, and that's what's happening right there. That's
because they have all the souvenirs that never got sold, so they got to sell them during the other festival.
You know, we predicted this many times back, INTERCOT Consulting, that eventually it would just be the Flower and Garden Food and Wine Festival because they would just keep it running throughout the whole year.
And what did they do? They used to have another one, like they should add like that art thing in there.
Festival of the Masters.
Festival of the Food and Wine Art Masters.
Masters, yes.
Flowers.
Festival of the Flowers from Food and Wine Master Festival.
Just Hollywood Studios is going to be closing at 7, also an hour earlier than usual. And Animal Kingdom will open an hour later each day at 9 a.m. and close an hour earlier than usual at 5 p.m.
So basically, they're just going to like sell peanut butter and jelly sandwiches at the gate for $15 and be like, "Have a good day, guys! Super fun."
They've gotten rid of all their nighttime stuff.
That would be a bargain. Yeah. I think it's probably more like $29.95.
Oh, Amanda checking in with interesting tidbit. The electrical water pageant apparently isn't running either. Really?
Wait a minute. That one's out in the middle of the water. Like, what does that have to?
I would think that.
Socially distanced for that one.
I mean, you know, it's like really hard to kill them for any of this stuff, though. Like, they haven't made money in like 5 months. I mean, you know, like I think they had to cut budgets in a lot of places.
Well, I mean, if they did that one now, it would just be for the NBA people. They're already getting enough.
Right, that's a good point. Yeah.
True.
I don't know. We're going to stay at Polynesian next week. I sure wish it was running. You know, we're paying to stay.
Right.
And my brother is headed down in a couple weeks, and they booked this quite a long time ago. And
but you're only paying $20.
Right. They're like $110.
No, what I'm saying is there are people, my brother and his family are headed down in a couple weeks, and they paid full price. They booked this a year ago. They have park hoppers. They have everything. They, you know, paid for a full experience that they're now not getting. And I feel bad for people who are not taking advantage of crazy deals. People who booked like you normally would. We all would have booked our stay a year in advance. We would have paid for these expensive tickets and picked out all these meals 6 months in advance that are all now not happening.
Yeah, and the sort of unfortunate thing, and again, I'm not going to kill him for this because this is uncharted waters, so it you can't really blame them. But you weren't able to. There was only a finite period where you could sort of cancel your trip, without penalty, and
Right.
Unfortunately, because his fell in the time outside of that, even though it's a dramatically different experience than what he would have expected to get, they didn't have that chance. So
Right.
So basically, they're not allowing folks to modify or
Well,
rebook
you
at a
can
lower
change
rate
like
or
you
anything
always
like that. Or I
can't
thought you.
rebook at a lower rate. No.
Yeah, and it depends. I believe that he actually booked through a DVC resale, and which at the time seemed like a good deal, but now
Right.
maybe isn't so much of a good deal. But
Yeah.
you just never know.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not sure what else you can do, but just kind of roll with the punches. So
And just
Yeah,
enjoy
and again,
the.
it's sort of uncharted waters, right? Like,
Well, I think that a certain amount of it goes to, like, even if you've had this trip planned for a year, not specifically your relatives, but anybody.
Mhm.
And if you're still going and you know that everything's closed, you're making a personal choice.
Right.
Like they're completely transparent with the fact that you're going to get 3 hours in each park and you're going to be eating a quick
Counter service.
Like there's
yeah, because
Right.
a lot of the
Right.
restaurants are closed.
Yeah.
How would I was going to ask
That's
what
been a
your
big
dining
deal.
experience
we'll talk
was.
about dining, yeah.
Yeah.
So our last week we had made a lot of table service reservations. Even
See,
with the
this is the part that
changes.
stinks. Oh,
So we modified them and picked other table service restaurants. We especially wanted to pick a table service each day in the park for lunch because we knew it would be hot, and we knew we wanted somewhere cool in the air conditioning to take a little break during the day. I highly recommend, especially in this last bit of summer, if you're going for the day, definitely try to make a reservation for lunch. The quick service options are limited. They make you you cannot go in. So let's just say you want to go have lunch at Pecos Bill. You have to pull it up on your phone. You're not allowed to go inside. You pull it up on your phone and you have to do a mobile order. And when they tell you your mobile order is ready, you hold your phone up and show the cast member at the door, and then they will let you and your family inside to the air conditioning to eat. They're also only allowing a certain number of orders per time slot. So let's say you want to eat at 12:30 in the afternoon. Well, you might have to plan that at 11:30 to place your order, because if you show up at 12:30 to place a mobile order and the inside of the restaurant is already at capacity, they will not even let you place an order.
Is that just,
So-
is that just because they don't want people standing around or queuing outside to come in and get the order? Because I would imagine the capacity inside would be similar, but
Well, except they've spaced all the tables. If you think about the inside of one of these quick service restaurants,
Oh,
now all the
I just
tables
meant-
have to be.
I just meant the cooking capacity, rather not the obvious capacity of
I
the
think
folks
it's all
in there.
based on that they don't want to let too many people inside the restaurant to sit down and eat at a time.
Right.
So they've severely limited your actual ability to order and get food. And some of these parks only have 2 or 3 quick service options open out of a normal, 6 or 7. So I would say definitely number one tip is plan your meals in advance. That has been huge, because there are so few options open.
Good tip.
And there's
Yeah.
absolutely no sit downs. Like, you can't go in anywhere.
Well, no, you can. You can make a reservation for a sit down in advance. I would definitely say that most places, if you don't already have a reservation before you show up at the park, they will turn you away. Especially Animal Kingdom. I think the only sit downs at Animal Kingdom right now are Yak and Yeti, Rainforest Cafe, and Tiffin's.
Tiffin's, yeah.
Tiffin's.
That's
Tiffin's.
Justin's favorite place. He loves Tiffin's.
Yeah. So if you don't have a reservation at one of those places before you show up at Animal Kingdom, they're going to turn you away.
Severe thunderstorm warning, people.
gosh.
Severe
Oh my
thunderstorm warning.
gosh.
Oh my
This
gosh.
just did.
Yes, because I felt
hold
like-
on. Hold
I
on.
felt like
Stand
the
by.
Muppets there. I was like,
This just in. Severe wet thunderstorm warning. Storm tracker 12.
It's like the warning that we haven't talked about weather
Oh my
yet.
gosh. Stand by. You
Yeah.
you guys talk amongst yourself. I'm going to hit the snooze button on the weather alert.
Okay.
That'd be
So
swell.
I have a question. Seeing as you've been there, I read an article that a lot of people are going but without their kids because they don't want to take their kids to be subjected to COVID or the possibility of
subject
getting
other people
COVID.
to
So when
COVID,
you were
probably.
there, did you notice many like children?
Yeah,
Or was it
I
mostly
still
adults?
No, I've still seen plenty of children. And they're the ones that seem to tolerate everything the best. They don't seem to mind the masks. They don't seem to mind the standing on the lines. No, we've seen plenty of families. Now, locally, school, online learning, or in-person school here in the counties right around the theme parks starts up this week and next week. So I expect to see less kids in the next couple weeks, but we've seen plenty of families, big families.
Okay.
It's so
Yeah.
interesting. I mean, I guess it is tempting because there's no waits for anything, right?
Nope.
So if you can subject yourself to everything else, it's a great time to not have to worry with about fast passes and all the other crap that you have to deal with, right?
I feel, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I feel safer at Disney World right now than I do at my Publix grocery store. I mean, more
Well,
people.
that's not saying much.
You know, masks are required. They
Publix.
require you to be socially distant. We feel pretty darn safe at Disney. I will tell you, the only times we felt uncomfortable was the studios was pretty busy,
Yeah.
and we also felt very uncomfortable at Disney Springs last week.
Yeah,
on a
you mentioned that when
weeknight.
we were talking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
tell
And
us
why
about
was that?
I've heard so many people say that Disney Springs is the one that like everyone is like, get me out of
We-
here.
Yeah, we've been for lunch a couple times up until now and had a wonderful experience. We'd been to Blaze, we've been to Homecoming during the day, very empty, a great experience. We went on Thursday evening, showed up at around, I want to say at around 6:30 from the bus, got our temperature taken. Once we got inside Disney Springs, it was kind of like all rules were off. We saw people.
Well, see, that's the problem when
Also,
there's no
like
restaurants
South Carolina.
available in any resort, right?
Right. And it was
Everybody
Where else are
flocks
you gonna
there,
eat?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even inside the World of Disney store, I know that they counted us as we went in. They count people as you go out. But standing inside that store, there were quite a lot of people. And then we ate dinner at the Boathouse, which I have to say, dining wise, was a fantastic experience. But I could reach out and touch the table next to us.
Oh,
I
no.
guarantee you that they had more than 50% capacity inside that restaurant. And while it was delicious, we will not be back to Disney Springs in the evening anytime soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know how
That's
that feels.
That's not good. Not good. So
I wonder
yeah,
if that has to do with the fact that all of these restaurants aren't actually owned by Disney.
Yeah, I was thinking that myself. Although they're mostly like,
but
it's
still,
not like they're like yeah, I don't know what you want
It's
to
just
call
they
it.
don't
Like, they're
have a good
well-known
way. Yeah, they
brands,
don't have,
you know.
they don't have a good way to control capacity because sure, they say they close down the parking decks when they get full, but now you have all the people coming from resorts. You have people
Right.
walking from the
But-
Disney Springs resorts.
yeah. But inside the restaurants is the puzzling thing to me. Like
it's
it's
busy.
easy to control capacity in a restaurant. Okay, you just you know, like here in Hilton Head, they've got like blue painter's tape over the restaurant or over the tables you don't sit in, and that makes sure that everybody's spaced evenly and stuff like that. And then, quite frankly, if they don't have room inside, you wait outside, and you have to distance out there. Although there have been a few occasions during the season here where the tourists are, you know, a little bunched.
Oh, sure, blame the tourists.
Start getting a little freaked out, but. Well, I'm just trying to stay safe.
Yeah,
Ian.
Yeah.
You
The
know,
upside with being in Seattle this summer is none of the tourists are here because all the cruises are canceled, all the
Yeah.
conventions are canceled, so it's just us. It's just the locals,
You
and we barely like each other anyway. So
and the rioters.
yeah, I
It
was gonna say,
encourages
right?
you to stay
Half your
home.
city's on fire, right? No,
Right.
I kid, but no, yeah. I mean, it's been an interesting summer, that's for sure. I mean, actually, we were trying to debate how to use our DVC points. So you know, our big 60 points.
Sell
Although,
them to Janet.
well, here's the problem. So we had carried over, I think, 50 points from last year.
Yeah,
So-
you can't
ouch.
roll them over.
and everybody's like, oh,
are they not letting you do
you're
it again?
60 plus
that's just
50.
crazy.
No, because you know, I mean, the the DVC thing works on, certain capacity and certain number of people owning and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So
it's like a very complicated, like legal arrangement.
right. So, I mean, because it's a timeshare, and I know they don't like me to say that word, I'm sure. It's vacation ownership. It's not timeshare.
Welcome home.
I know. Welcome home. So we were trying to decide what to do with, our points, because we have to spend these 50 that we carry. So the way DVC works, okay, for those who are, I just assume everybody knows, but not everybody does know. So you get an allotment of points every year, right? And so you can either spend your points in that year towards vacation accommodations, or you can bank your points and carry them into the next year. And you can even borrow from a year in advance of the current use year backwards. So technically, like if I have to put this in simple math, if I've got 60 points, technically this year, if I had 60 points from last year and 60 points from the current year and 60 points from the next year, I could actually spend 180 in this year and have no points in the previous year and no points in the future year. Now, however, they have thrown a monkey wrench into that too. They haven't allowed you to borrow from future years now. They've changed things. I got some sort of notice the other day. I'm like, how can they do that? I thought that was part of the deal that I signed, that I could do this. But anyway, so we were trying to figure out what to do with the 50 points. So we've ended up booking a couple days down at Vero and a day at Hilton Head. We just decided we were going to,
take a staycation.
Yeah, as absurd as that sounds, we were like, we'll just go stay over there. We'll use the pool. We'll go over to the beach house. We'll order drinks. It'll be fun and do that kind of thing. So yeah, it's a little staycation action, but rather than going to the parks, I don't know if I'm quite ready yet. And there's too many unknowns. Just for me to
not wearing a mask in the theme park.
That's the big thing for me, Ian, honestly. And Janet, how did you deal with that? Because like for me, I look, I wear the mask because you're supposed to wear them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I don't want to kill anybody and the whole 9 yards, blah, 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 whatever. But I hate it. And 3/4 of the time, like 90% of the time, and guarantee you, I go to the store and I get 5 minutes down the road and I'm like, crap. And
I don't have a mask.
Turn around, go back.
There's none in my car. I should just buy like 20 of them, and like Michael does.
And
we did that. We have a box in our center console just in case.
Yeah.
I mean, Michael does. Yeah, he's got like 20. You could just send me a few, right?
I know.
I know.
Well, just do what I do and just continue buying them until you find something that you like, and then you never like them. And now I have like 1 million.
I know. So, but that's what happens. I forget and I head down the road. And so, but the bottom line is I just hate wearing them, but I do it because I have to, but I hate it. You're there, you follow the rules, right?
Yeah. I don't really like it either. I will admit maybe it's a little bit over dramatic, but I just don't like it. I mean, it's just uncomfortable and it bothers me, and I can't wait to take
anybody likes it. But
no, you know what? Honestly, I'm the only one in my family that complains about it. Everybody else is sort of like, it doesn't really bother me.
Ian, I got to tell you, this will be the story. So I am so irritated by wearing masks and the whole mask thing that we were talking about it, and I got so upset about it after we were having our fun weekend. We were going to have a fun weekend because the times have been pretty stressful.
It's been weird.
Okay, yeah, it's been there. You go.
And you moved.
Yeah, it's been kind of weird. It's weird. And so we were out. We were like having a nice lunch or whatever, and then the subject turned to masks and the virus and the whole 9 yards. And I'm talking with my wife, and I just I start losing it again, and I back into a tree.
Oh no!
No.
Oh yeah, totally did it.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Totally did it.
It's the mask thing is a lot. It's a lot in the summertime right now,
especially in the summer.
Yeah. So it's actually been kind of our most limiting factor. I mean, I'll be honest with you. The first day I went, which was one of the annual pass holder preview days, I got in at Animal Kingdom. Wouldn't have been my first choice to spend a July day. But you know what? Once I got in there, I was like adrenaline, so happy to be here. I'm finally
awesome
a local.
bar.
And I kind of like that day, the mask was like not a big deal, right? I was just so pumped to be back. Now, especially going a couple days in a row, you just get to the point. Let's say you got to Animal Kingdom at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. By 1 o'clock, we're just done. We're done with the mask. We're done with the heat. You got to get back in. Whether you came by Disney transportation, you got to wear that mask all the way back to your hotel. If you drove your own car, thankfully, the minute you get in the parking lot around nobody or back in your own car, you rip that thing off and either wash it or hope you have a dry one for later, because it is a sweaty, nasty mess after a few hours.
So question then. So, in ye olden times back in the 70s when, you used to only have one park to go to and stuff, and you would come back in the afternoon, you'd chill out at the resort and you'd cool off and stuff like that. So have you found yourself doing like that kind of stuff? I mean, where you're just enjoying the resort more, chilling out? I mean, are the pools open?
Yes, weather permitting. So welcome to Florida. At the Swan last week, the pools were open, but we had storms every afternoon, and they closed the pool if lightning is within 10 miles. So almost every afternoon, the pool was closed for 3 or 4 hours. We're hoping next week at the Polynesian that maybe we can enjoy the pool a little bit more. But
do you have to wear your mask at the pool?
In the pool?
That's a great question. No, it's a great question. So
Fantastic.
You have to wear your mask going down to the pool. You got all the way up until the point where you sit down in your chair, and the chairs are spaced out from other parties. You can take your mask off. We didn't worry about putting our mask on, just walking to get in the pool. So from our chair to the pool, we didn't have a mask on. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But we did, if we went over to get a fresh towel or go over to order a drink or something, we definitely put it back on walking around the pool deck area. And like I said, we'll see how it differs between staying at the Swan is a little bit of a different animal than Polynesian. So I'll be happy to report back in after next week how things are over there. I've heard that the pool capacity at the Polynesian is pretty limited.
Yeah. It's a smaller pool anyway.
It's actually a reasonably small pool.
And the resort, the resort didn't reopen as planned, so it'll only be DVC folks. So hopefully it'll be a pretty small crowd.
Oh, that won't be bad then.
Yeah. We've also, we've monorailed around.
And so what's been your experience as far as that? Oh, by the way, didn't we see something where some people got stuck on the monorail the other day and they told them to take the glass out?
Glass out or something.
That would be my dream.
What?
Yes. Like they actually told them to remove the glass.
The monorail. I'm on it.
Like, it was so hot that they literally removed the glass panels.
Yeah, I would jump out the window. I don't think I could even remotely survive in those conditions.
Yeah, so
man dies from jumping
even really
monorail train. News at 11.
The last time we were there, I didn't even really want to
Ian Mitchell dies after jumping from monorail train.
Jumped into Bay Lake.
I'm assuming the monorails obviously aren't packed full like I remember them being, because I can't imagine being stuck in there with 900 people in your little cubby.
Do they have any dividers or anything in the monorail? Because I thought I saw some pictures that had that. So again, these are the little details we don't know about.
Right. So far we have been on the monorail, the ferry boat, the Skyliner, and a bus. Each one being a little bit different situation. The monorail, they load you. They tell you what car to go into.
Okay. The old days.
Yeah. And
so ask how many are in your party.
This resort monorail. This is this.
Remember when the doors didn't automatically close and they had to close for it?
Yeah.
They would come up and they'd be like,
yeah. So we had no trouble waiting for a monorail, although the monorail to Epcot is still not open, which is pretty disappointing for staying at the Polynesian.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
They keep you really spaced apart on the monorail. The buses, maybe they let 20 to 25 people on per bus, and that is it. They also tell you where to sit. They ask you how many people are in your party.
The Skyliner, we call it the cone of
that's
COVID.
No, the Skyliner's awesome.
No, I mean, no, I love the Skyliner, but
Yeah.
I'm just like picturing they move so rapidly and people going in. I just can't imagine it being as clean as.
Well, it's funny when before the Skyliner opened, I think we had some conversations. I maybe even had conversations, I think with Ian and maybe even with John about, my gosh, these things are going to be so hot when it's hot out.
No, they're not. They're great.
No, they're not. The airflow in them is great. They were actually built for COVID. I know that sounds crazy, but they're only letting one party in per car. The line moves super fast. They literally, it's the best transportation method they have right now to get people around. Better and faster moving.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
a small death
it's
box.
been great. No, Ian's such a hater on this.
I know he really is.
He really is. It's been great. Skyliner's been the best, easiest way to get around by far.
It is relaxing. It's fun to ride. It's a great way to see the property. I really love it.
It's like relaxing in the box they put you in prison when you're really bad,
We love it.
Stick me in the hole.
Box or
yeah,
whatever.
they put you
Stick them in the box.
In the hole.
10 days in the hole.
10 days in the hole. No, it's not. I mean, I used to love
it's great.
Used to love the Skyway in the Magic Kingdom, and these are.
I mean, in those nice wide open cars where you could see.
It's really. Have you been in it?
He's not
been in it. I've never seen It's a Wonderful Life.
He's such a hater.
I just troll.
I love it. It's like my favorite thing.
It really
I love it.
Have you been on it, Michael? When was the last time you were? Really? I didn't know that.
I stayed at the Beach Club, hater.
When?
January this last year. I was there for the marathon.
Oh God, January.
That's right.
That was like 6 months or 7 months ago. But
I know that's
like 2 years.
I randomly decided I was going to go 3 days before.
For run ICOT. Yes.
Nice.
Life was.
Yes, indeed.
Life was easy.
He was there. No, I agree. Like I liked it so much it makes me want to stay at a resort along the Skyliner. So I really do think it's a selling point. I was like Ian. I was down on it when it first came up, and I was monorails everywhere. That's what I wanted to see. But the reality is,
I rode it twice, just all the way around.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah, we went last weekend. We walked over to it just to take a ride. We weren't taking it anywhere. We just went around in a big circle, had a nice time.
The day that I went from the studios to Epcot, it was like a dream. It was so relaxing. I had got coffee halfway through.
That too. They have like the coffee shop at the transfer point.
I just don't see how it cannot be hot. I'm still not.
It's so breezy. It's amazing.
Yeah, but a 98-degree breeze does not help.
Some Disney
it's air. It's air
I'm on
cooling.
the
Air cooling.
I kind of agree with Ian because I haven't been on it, but
It's
I'm
great.
really hoping the rest of you are.
It's surprising.
Accurate.
I think you will be pleasantly surprised at the air cooling.
I would have ridden it in the summer, but
because I'm imagining riding inside of an oven like across.
No.
And he will. It purposefully, Ian will never ride it just so he can complain about it.
I kind of picture like it's like getting into your car in the summertime and it's like an oven. Like that's
no.
I know what you
there
mean.
because there's no air conditioning.
No.
But your car's not constantly moving.
And you can't roll the window. It's not.
But you can. There are windows.
It sits in the Walmart parking lot. And you get out and it's 180 degrees in there.
I mean, we know your car doesn't move because you hit a tree, John. But the rest of us, our cars.
I did. I hit a tree.
The only thing I thought would be questionable about the Skyliner was the sitting in there with people you don't know, because I was a party of one, so they would stick me in with other parties, and you know me, I don't give a crap. But this one group that
Wait, hold on.
There was this couple, and they were fighting. And they were fighting, and I was across from them, and I was well, we're all in it now. You're 3 feet from me, so I'm just going to sit here and judge you.
Well, that's awkward.
Well, the nice thing is, due to COVID, you're not going to sit with anyone other than your own family.
That's the upside.
And that's great. So it is your own cone of COVID. So
Yes.
good.
The COVID cone. It's like on Get Smart. You remember
Get
the cone
Smart.
of silence?
Cone of
The
silence.
Right.
Yeah.
That was what I was going for. Thank you. You complete me, Ian.
Now, what about
can
the
try.
ferry?
Complete
What
me.
about the ferry boats? How do they do that? Because it's
Yeah.
not like there's seats on the ferry boat,
No.
or not
So
really.
it's the same way they're actually treating some of the pre-shows or areas before you go into, let's say, a show. When you walk onto the ferry boat, there'll be a big sorry, still trying to figure out this camera thing. A big circle sticker on the ground, and you're supposed to stand with your party on a designated circle sticker. And most people did that. They're spaced out really far from each other. And when every circle sticker has a party on it, they'll pull away, and then they'll make you kind of get
So
off
it's like
the ferry.
Twister. It's like,
Yes,
go find
it
your
is.
circle.
So it's the same thing
Right
before
leg.
the bug movie. It's Tough to Be a Bug. So what they do instead of all
That's
those people
still open?
packing, yeah.
I'm
So
sorry.
instead of it's air conditioned, it's wonderful.
It's air cool. Yeah.
And
I
they
guess.
Air
still-
cooling.
And they still sprayed you with acid, which is amazing.
Ew.
Wow.
COVID acid.
Yeah, COVID acid. But so you walk down, they lead you, they ask how many are in your party, and then you go into that little underground cave area, and there's all these circles on the floor, and you stand with your party on a circle. Same thing with Muppet Vision 3D. They only put as many people into that area as can stand on the circles, and that's how many people also can fit into the theater, with every other or every third row only being open, and then there's seats blocked off in each row with big stickers pasted onto the seats that say "Do not sit here." So even the shows that are open, they're super spaced apart. But what it does mean is they can fit a lot fewer people into a show than normal. So we had to wait through 3 different showings of It's Tough to Be a Bug just to get
Oof.
into the theater.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's long.
Ooh. Ouch.
Yeah. Well, we were hot, and so
Yeah,
it's okay.
well-
See, I don't know that. I don't know. I didn't really ever go. I don't even know if I went to that at Disney World. At Disneyland, there was never anybody in it. Like you just
No, it's gone now, right?
you and like 25 people.
Like Avengers Campus or whatever they're doing there. Something like that.
Alleged. If it ever opens again, Disney
Yeah,
World.
that may never come to fruition now. Oh my
You ever
God.
think if you could go,
Holding on to my reservation in October.
if you could go back in time, go back a year, I would take out shares in like some decal sticker labeling company.
Oh,
I
plexiglass.
know, right?
Plexiglass.
Oh man, yeah,
Holy
you could make
cow.
a fortune if you invested in a
Oh,
plexiglass
man.
manufacturer.
Yeah.
My
Or
goodness.
heck, even a mask company would be,
Yeah.
Did you see what Shane Wood? Shane said
I
he's
love
actually
this
very,
post.
very
Yeah.
jealous of his parents. Instead of a trip to Sturgis there this year, they're doing 49
Oh my
days
goodness.
at
Kudos
Fort
to them.
Wilderness
That's
in their
awesome.
new motorhome.
who is?
Shane Wood is doing
His parents.
His parents.
long
I don't
time
know who
Intercot
that is. That's
fan. Yeah,
Wow, that
yeah.
would be so awesome.
if they're
I mean,
golf
I
cart.
think that I'm just more scared of 49 days in an RV. That made me start sweating just thinking about it.
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
sounds
well,
a little tough.
folks do whole summers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I know they have RV
Well,
resorts.
the
here,
RVs
so-
aren't like they were when I was.
yeah,
like,
they're not.
grandparents'
It's
RVs.
not the same. And RV
Yeah.
resorts are not the same that we remember them being in the 70s. The KOA campgrounds and all that kind of stuff. No, it's not the same. With the Jellystone National Park.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
No.
Jellystone.
You remember that?
I saw one of them the other day. Actually, I was driving somewhere and I
Hey,
don't
boo-boo.
remember where I was, but there was a sign for. I didn't even think they were still. I didn't even think they were still a thing, but apparently they are.
Apparently they are. So yeah, I mean, bottom line is, I mean, if you can put up with the mask, I think it's a not horrible time to go.
I think
I would honestly
yeah.
consider doing it if number one, it wasn't 4,000 degrees because you all know
Yeah, that's
how I
what
am.
would stop me from doing.
Is that Kelvin? Or
And number
Fahrenheit?
2, flying all the way from Seattle to Orlando would kill me. Like with a mask on for like 6.5 hours. Oh my God. I can't even imagine.
Yeah. Although they were saying that the chance of getting this on a airline is like ridiculously small.
1 in
Well,
4,200 or something.
I don't
Yeah, you
understand
saw
how
that
that's
too.
possible. You're
How do
in
you
a
prove
tiny
that?
little.
Yeah, it's
know.
not even that it scares me. It's that wearing the mask and you can't have any food and you can't have any drinks. And
Yeah,
you,
no,
They're
no.
loosening that up a little bit. from
And I'm
what
going to
Yeah.
also have to pack an ice chest. I don't know. Like, it's just too much.
So pin trading
People.
post COVID. If anybody wants to know
do
about pin
people still
trading,
do that? Because
Yeah,
I've got
I
like
just saw a video.
You
of it.
have to cover
bags
your
of
pin in
pins here.
Purell.
Yeah, we've got 4 bags of pins that I probably
Yeah,
should
so they
swap.
have limited pin trading in a few of the parks. We've seen a couple pin boards in, let's see, Animal Kingdom. I think there's 3 locations in Animal Kingdom. We've seen a couple locations in the Magic Kingdom. There's a pin board behind the counter, so it'll be in a gift shop or at their normal pin cart. They might have a small board. You give them your pin without the back. You keep your back. You point to the pin you want off the board. They grab a little antiseptic wipe,
I was
alcohol
just going to
wipe.
say, did they like,
They
dip
grab
it in
the
a
pin.
in
Yeah,
a
they
thing of
grab the
alcohol
pin
first?
off the board. Then they
Wow.
put your pin in a bucket to be disinfected before it goes back on the board. So I have traded approximately 4 pins.
Janet, you're still doing pin trading, which is
I
amazing.
am obsessed with pin
20
trading.
years
Are
later.
you kidding? 20 years later, I bought. I put down payment on my first house with pin money.
I bought
Oh
my.
my goodness.
You know what? I need to talk to
put
Janet.
like a 50% deposit on my first BMW with my pin
I'm-
money.
I'm not even kidding. I need to talk about it because my pins have been in the closet for 15
Oh no, you need to talk to
years
Michael then.
plus.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what? Okay.
Come on, that was
Here
funny.
we go.
Come on,
That was
funny.
pretty good.
It was a
Come
joke,
on.
I tell you. Hey.
What? Yeah,
I
it's
don't get
funny.
no
I mean,
respect.
I can't zoom around in this room right now, but this is our new house, and up
So,
here in the upstairs, I think
Pins are
that
worth stuff.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I think
How do you-
my
None that you
husband
have,
hung like
Michael.
42 sets of pins on the wall when
my
I moved in
gosh.
here.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
no, I mean, like just for somebody, if there was somebody hypothetically that was trying to pare down his collection of Disney
for a friend.
memorabilia, asking
Well,
for a friend.
Yeah, it's not
and
the
I've got-
best time to be selling
Okay.
collectibles
Well,
because
that's fine.
all the people trying to pay their rent are selling their collectibles.
I
If
don't
you're
know if
interested
you can-
in selling your
can you just-
collectibles to me, I'm interested in buying.
Well, and also a lot of people are
Do you
not.
see the curio cabinet back there?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all Disney classic collection stuff.
lot of
which I've been
people are
holding
not
on because it's not a good time. to
buying
sell
things
it.
from other people because they don't want to
Yeah.
risk.
Well, that too.
COVID.
I would like for it to be known that I do not own a curio cabinet or a curio.
I don't know the
What's-
curio
Wow.
cabinet.
Well, a
I have
display
plenty of
cabinet? What would you
curios,
call
but
it? I
they're
don't
not
even
in a
know.
cabinet. They're just
It's-
around.
I don't know. I think curio cabinet is definitely something straight people have. I don't.
Look, it's
Really?
it's a
See,
display
I think the
cabinet. Do you
opposite.
see
I would
that?
think that would be a big thing with the gay
You see
folks,
that?
like
Oh.
Oh my god.
Chotskis.
My
you know,
mixing board.
and just
Oh,
so
look,
everybody's
there's
listening, like
Mickey.
I can kid with
Right.
Michael this way, and he knows that but
So-
don't be offended. It's
No,
just
but
a joke.
okay, let's assume that things get back to some sort of normalcy or whatever. I mean, how do you actually? This is wow. We've gone off.
Is
on
that
a
ever going to happen?
No,
though?
I'm totally interested. Like,
What
how-
is normal now?
But how do you? But I mean, yeah, like how do you value? Like I've got no joke, probably 400, 500 pins here, and I collected things that
Honestly, John,
I liked. and
450 of them are probably worth absolutely nothing.
really,
Like just being real. Like there's only a
depends.
very small number of pins that have any,
well, I collected
Appreciable
theme
value.
park attractions, which I tended to do, and then I
Yes.
focused also on global theme park attractions. Like, so I have some stuff from Disneyland
Tokyo
Paris,
Disney Sea.
Tokyo Disney, yeah, all that kind of stuff. Like, I ended up with some unique stuff, and I've got some limited edition things and stuff like that.
I mean,
So,
Janet would know more than I would, but historically speaking, if they're not like very limited edition pins,
did you
they're
just
generally
focus on that and just happen
worth
to
anything.
get lucky that you had enough money to pay for half of a BMW?
well, so first of all,
or
keep in
whatever?
mind, I
What?
sold when they were still like,
Way
a
up.
hot thing, right? Like, 'cause
Right.
remember, like when around the millennium, they were like,
Yeah.
nuts. I mean,
Okay.
everybody wanted them. So I sold near the probably close to the.
Peak.
It wasn't. I won't say I sold to the top of the market because that's not true. I think I bought at the top.
But I've got 20-year-old pins.
I didn't. I want to be
Something
clear.
worth
Like I
something.
didn't make a profit on my pins. I just sold them. I lost
Okay.
money. I'm sure. But
Yeah.
but there's only a limited number that have like reasonably significant
Well,
value.
Let me just put it in this context. Okay. When I moved, I had my record collection. Okay. And I was a DJ for 10 to 15 years. Okay. I just sold it all. And I had some
Yeah.
pretty rare crap. And I just literally told my son, I'm like, go to the local record place, get what you can for it, bring me money, and I'm done with it because I'm not moving them to the new house. And I probably like tons of extended plays, EPs, rare stuff, all this weird things from radio stations and stuff like it. So I probably gave away stuff that was worth money. I just don't want to do that again, like with all this kind of
That's
stuff.
why I like pins. Pins are
Right?
small.
Well, they are
That's
small, but how do you know? So where do you go? Where do you go to
to
figure out? Where do you go to figure out what's what they're worth?
eBay.
Just really, I gotta go.
I mean, there's really that. The other problem is like, there's no really great way to clear them
Speaking of
out.
eBay, I really want to hold on. Where is it? Over here.
Oh boy,
There we go.
Okay.
it's an.
He's
Oh
gone.
no, I can't even say that anymore. I was about to say it's
No.
an audio podcast, but it's not an audio podcast.
No, I mean, I really would like to at some point eBay this.
What is it,
Did you steal
Oh.
that?
You stole a pillow.
dude?
I did not. This is
that's a giveaway. I
this
got a
is
real one. Though.
this is a real one.
Ian
No,
stole it.
that's not legit. That's
Did
like
you
a
get one of
giveaway.
these?
No, because it's like for noobs, like that don't actually stay there. Like I got the real thing. That's just like, oh look, he visited the castle. Like I got the real
No,
one.
this was
I have
part
a
of-
towel from the castle that I visited.
Okay,
That he
let me-
stole
Let me tell you,
Yeah.
pal.
that one night.
This was from the grand opening before anyone stayed in it, and this was the Sweet Dreams pillow
Yeah,
from
but I stayed in it.
Cinderella. I know you did, but the point
We
is,
all
we
know
know.
you did.
the point is,
exactly like what 3 years and like 3/4 of a podcast to come up again. Like,
the point being,
Michael,
you
the first
can't
podcast Michael's on, and
You
he's like,
can't
I was
buy
talking
you
about
that
can't
pillow.
buy that pillow.
No, you cannot buy that. Yeah, that's
Right.
it's cute.
This is yeah. I
It is
mean,
It's cute.
it's
I
embroidered.
think
how much-
collectibles
who
are.
wants that?
I know
I don't know.
collectibles are only worth what people are willing to pay
I know.
for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like I've got
So,
the Seven Dwarfs
I
Mine
paid
Train
$5
Magic
for it.
Band that sold for $600 or $700 sitting on the shelf over here.
Well, why
I've
didn't
seen
you
it on
sell it?
eBay.
That was-
Well, I don't know. I
Also,
should, but
just so we're clear, here's another life lesson from somebody who sold thousands of things on eBay. Sorry, I was looking for my
yes,
card
sir.
key from the castle suite, but I couldn't find it.
I thought you were looking for the
Don't
towel.
believe everything that you see on eBay. Because what happens a lot, and Janet can probably tell you this, if somebody's got something they want to sell, they'll
Yeah.
they'll put it up for auction, get one of their friends to bid it
buy
up
it.
to some ridiculous number,
Yeah.
and then
Then
all of a
those
sudden
theirs.
there's like this
Yeah.
frantic
Frenzy, the feeding
Yeah.
frenzy.
just because something shows that it sold for 600. If there's a whole bunch of them that sold for that much, it's fairly reasonable to
Right.
believe that that's what it's worth.
All right.
Yeah. The super
No.
hot commodity right now is the Minnie Mouse main attraction monthly stuff that's being released. It was supposed to be released every month of this
I
year.
don't know what that is.
Yeah, so every month of 2020, they were supposed to be releasing a special collection. Every month it was a plush, a lounge fly, a magic band, a set of pins, and I think a coffee mug for each month. And so the first couple months, it was fairly easy to get if you were at the park the day it was released.
Yeah.
Then it moved to being sold online, and all the eBay people or whatever immediately like jumped in and bought tons of them and resold them. Because if you bought January, February, and you wanted the
Right.
whole year, it was going to be super hard to get. Now they're
Yeah.
issuing what's called a merchandise pass. So you just go into a lottery. So let's say you want
Oh,
the
wow.
September collection. You have to sign up online. They draw your name out of a hat to give you the ability to buy the it's called the main attraction set of merchandise this year. So if
Okay.
anyone's still interested in buying that, you have to go online to Shop Disney and
Okay.
sign up for what's
I
called
feel
a
like I should do
merchandise
it.
pass.
Sounds so exclusive.
Yeah.
You're lucky.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm at the point where I'm ready to like pare down my tchotchkes. Like I just have too much. I really like higher quality stuff. And I kind of just am ready to.
Well, that's a
Stuff that
good
I'm not that attached
quarantine
to.
activity.
I got rid
Everybody's
of
got
that.
time on their
Kinda.
hands. You can
Right.
sort through all your
See,
stuff.
this is why I never let people buy me Disney stuff, because I've constantly told people in my life I'm not a collector. I just like Disney, but I'll make some memories myself. If I'm gonna have a lot of like Disney stuff, it's all the stuff on my Christmas tree. And you know what I do? I put it away, and I don't have to look at it for a year. You know what I
That,
mean?
see, that's why I put up a. I'm still trying to figure. I put up a Christmas tree.
Oh, look at that. There's a
Awesome.
Christmas tree in the corner.
It's a frozen Christmas tree with all my Disney ornaments and all my magic bands, and I'm leaving it up. All
See,
year
that's
round,
awesome.
buddy.
Boom.
If I had a separate room, I'd
Boom.
do that. If I did that here, it'd be on in my kitchen.
That is it.
Magic bands. It's a
My
mess
God.
of magic bands.
Well, Ian, you'd probably be able to sell those for
I know,
discounted
but they're not free anymore.
coming soon.
right.
I think I count. The last
Oh,
time I
yeah,
counted, I
magic
think I have
bands.
about 102 of them. Like I just have.
Right.
I mean, we made a chain out of them the one time. It was like 36 feet long or something. There's just,
So
Why
we
would
should talk
you
about
keep them?
magic bands, actually.
What? Go ahead, talk about magic.
Yeah,
What am I gonna
magic
do with them?
bands.
Throw 'em out?
So you need if you either need your magic band or your ticket to get into the gate of whatever park you're in, but then past that, unless you want to charge something to your room, you
Right.
don't need your magic band anymore. And so my husband, who kind of hates wearing the magic band,
Right.
once we get in the gate, he rips that thing off. I put it in my bag. You don't need to wear a magic band anymore because it's not getting you on rides. The only ride that scans your magic band right now is Rise of the Resistance.
Right. But I mean, you can still use it to purchase stuff if you want to. And
Yes.
things like
So
that.
if you're staying at a regular Disney resort, of course, we were at the
Contact
Swan last
this
week, so we
payment.
couldn't use it. But next week,
But if you're an annual pass holder, can't you? I mean, I just
you
used
can't use
to
it for
charge
payment.
stuff. What?
No, not unless you're staying at the resort.
I thought you could.
Nope. No.
And do they take cash, or is everything like if you buy food, you got to do it through your phone, right?
So all the signs say that we prefer contactless payment. So yes, they will take cash. They prefer not to take cash. The weird thing is that, so for example, I bought something last week. I had it shipped home, so I didn't have to carry it. They're not doing package. You can't ship a package to the front of the park. You cannot ship a package to your resort. You can ship a package home for a fee. So
Well, as a
So-
Canadian, like I don't
Yeah.
want to I can't use my debit card in the States. Well, I suppose I could,
Yeah.
but then I'd have all these
Yeah.
crazy service charges. So I would.
well, you could always use a credit
can-
card and
I
just pay
could,
cash
yeah.
on it later. You can
Yeah.
even do it real time if you want.
yeah.
I guess.
So I'm filling out the form to mail something to my house, and the cast member said, he hands me the form and he says, "You have your own pen, right?" And I'm like, "Because I carry a pen with me to the animal kingdom? No, I don't have a pen." And he says, "Okay, well, I can give you a pen to fill out the form, but then I'll have to sanitize the pen." Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry for inconveniencing
Sorry.
you.
I'll pray for you.
Which?
Yeah,
which-
I would have licked that pen.
oh my gosh.
Here,
Well, that's,
chew
here,
on the
sir.
back of the pen.
Let me show you where I'd like to put this
This is
pen.
now my pen. Take that.
oh my. Well, that almost reminds me of the cast members yelling at the folks
Oh,
getting out of
Splash Mountain.
the sinking Splash Mountain
yeah.
log.
Did you guys see that video?
Yeah.
So the log boat, the flume boat sank,
You know what?
and the people got out of it, and the cast members yelling at
would've
them like, "You
deleted that
should have
video
stayed."
because there's somebody. I do not want to be the fat person in the boat getting sunk. I would like delete that. No one show it. I'm totally fine. Everything's good. I'm out. No,
Right. But
That's
they got
not
yelled
going
at.
viral.
They got
Hell,
yelled at for abandoning the sinking boat.
Abandoned
Which-
boat.
I
Abandoned.
mean,
The
it's-
captain
what?
must stay with the ship.
I know.
wait.
Well,
don't
it's
we
a safety issue. You
talk
know?
about-
Like,
Give them
what?
a show here. Are we missing stuff? Are we supposed to talk about
What?
Mulan? That's what the thing. We were
Yeah,
supposed to-
Oh,
Mulan.
well, that's one of the things we've got
Well-
stuff over here. We've got we've still got some time. Yeah, but go ahead. Let's talk about Mulan. Go ahead, Michael.
I'll
What are
buy
they
it.
doing?
I don't care. Like,
What are
I'm-
they doing? Explain.
Oh, so Disney Plus is going to offer it for streaming for
Right.
$30. You do get to keep it for the whole time that you have Disney Plus, so it's not like it is a one-time purchase. You can watch it as many times as you want. It is
And
a
it's
hard.
not
don't
like it
cancel.
expires after
Hard to
48
get
hours or anything.
I honestly don't care. Like I have been dying to see this for so long. Like I was just distraught
Really?
when it didn't show in the theater. I'm actually more upset that we're not going to get to see it on the big screen because
Yeah.
it looks phenomenal, right? So I'll definitely, I don't know, $30. I figure if I can get 3 people that I know aren't infected to come over, then it'll be worth it.
Right.
Because the movie's like $20 in Seattle, so
Yeah,
I mean, that is a good
if you,
point.
If you had a family then $30, you're like, well, if I took them all to the theater, then yeah, I could figure $30. But if I'm just a single person by myself, I don't know that I'm spending $30.
It would
I
still
have to
be,
like move
if
on.
I went to the movies and I got popcorn and a drink, it would be more than $30. So it's still fine.
Yeah, but they're not giving you popcorn or a drink.
Yeah, but I can have vodka.
I can have vodka.
And here's a question.
We
So
have
if you
wine
want to
at
watch
ours
it,
and bars.
what
so.
day is it coming out? September 4th?
Is that what?
Like
Yeah, it's Labor Day weekend, I think.
So
Let's
if
get
you want to
down
watch
to
it when it
business.
first comes out, you got to pay the $30. If I wait a year, will it be
Well,
free?
not even a year.
It'll be
It's-
on Disney.
Oh,
Plus,
it'll be on
Network
Disney
Plus.
Plus in 6
once
months.
they're probably having to do this. I have a feeling it has to do because of the Oscars. So once they announce the Oscar nominations, because they pushed it back 6 months, so it has to release somehow. So I have a feeling this is all why they're doing all this. So it
You
has
think?
to be somewhere. Yeah, because they're not going to.
So do you wonder? I mean, just along the same vein, I saw where Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, the latest movie, is coming out. It's going to be in limited theatrical release and also some sort of
It
pay
looks
per
so
view
bad.
kind of.
Right.
thing.
Love
Really?
Keanu.
Oh, I think it
So
looks
they're
It
not
looks
just
so
putting that
bad.
straight on
Oh.
Cinemax. I don't know. Like,
No, but I'm just saying it's the same sort of thing. So I mean, do you pay the money and Oh,
No,
I'm
because
paying
that's
it. I may pay for that.
on HBO in 3 months. Like, I mean, come on.
But it'll be on Disney Plus in 3 months. So I mean, what's the difference?
No, I think that they have too much money to make on Mulan. Like they spent $100 million on it. Like they have to figure out a way to recoup it. They're gonna.
Well, I mean, some of the big movies are just pushing till next summer now. I mean, Top Gun is now going to be next summer.
Yeah, and the Sopranos movie pushed to next summer.
There's a Sopranos movie.
Yeah, where you been?
How are they going to do that without Tony?
It's James Gandolfini's son.
His son.
Is playing Tony? What?
Yeah,
like
young
a
Tony.
younger Tony?
Yeah.
It's like a prequel.
It's called like Gangs of Newark or something. I forget what it is. Where have you been? That's been news for like 3 years.
He's been moving.
I've been. What the
Not
heck?
for the last 3 years.
No,
Holy
you know what? I don't even know that I've seen that. And like, when's the last time you saw a movie trailer anywhere?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
going to the movie. So I don't know what's coming. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's David Chase too. So I mean, it's legit all the way.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Oh, I'm actually excited about that now. Thanks for letting me know. That's
Yeah,
a good
of
thing
course
I
you'll
showed
have
up
to
for the
wait
podcast
8
tonight.
months to just see it.
I know, but no, I mean, the thought is, I mean, really, do you guys see movie theaters opening this year?
Allegedly,
ours
they're
are
opening in
supposed to.
3 weeks.
Yeah, ours are all open in
Yeah, ours have
Are
opened
they?
up here, but
No,
it's like
not down
minimal
here.
people per theater.
Yeah. I live in like the crazy hot zone where you can't do anything, but you can go to Disney World.
Yeah, so you guys are in the areas that had already had it, and Janet and I are in the places where people flocked to escape it, and then gave all of us the COVID. So now we're the hot zones.
Yeah.
August
So-
21st, allegedly, AMC and Regal are going to open again.
But what are they going to show?
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
That's
I mean,
what I was wondering. It'll be old stuff, won't it?
Yeah,
Like
mean,
I think the theaters up here are
theaters
playing
are
like
going-
Back to
they're
the
still-
Future and like stuff like that.
go ahead,
I think
Michael.
if
What?
people go to the movies, they're going to release. There's how many movies have not been released? It's
Yeah,
been
they're
6 months
in
now.
the queue, right? In the shoot.
Yeah.
Right.
But then what's going to happen like a year out from now when all the movies
no
that were
movies.
supposed to be in production were not in production? Then it's going to be like, yeah, exactly.
I'm
It's
more
like there's-
concerned with television.
TV.
Yeah,
Oh
no,
my
Chris and I
gosh.
talk about that all the time.
No
Michael.
Survivor. Nothing.
We are going to get to a dead spot pretty soon.
That's
where
it.
There's
It's going to
no
be just
television.
like that 4 months where there was the strike and nothing was in production. Remember, they were like pulling out shows from like 3 years before. Like, oh my gosh, it's going to be horrible.
I mean, TV is already a cesspool right now. I mean, it's just
Why do
awful.
you
There's
say that?
nothing to watch.
I
There's
know,
not-
like-
You mean broadcast TV?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking. So there's streaming stuff. Like, I mean, I'm catching up on Star Trek Discovery right
Yeah,
now. I'm in
broadcast
season
TV is
2.
largely a wasteland.
right now.
There's like
So-
a handful of shows that I watch, but
So let me just share something because this drove me nuts, and I don't think I shared this on the podcast. My wife and I, because like everybody else, we're binging stuff and like kind of like finding new stuff to watch and whatever. So we got involved in this series on Amazon called Forever. Have you all seen it?
No, but what is it?
It's got Fred Armisen and another that was in Bridesmaid with
Maya Rudolph.
Yes, Maya Rudolph. So I'm warning you because it sounds interesting, and it actually was. Where basically, well, I don't want to give it away, but they're together.
You can give us the general plot line.
Right?
Wait, we did see this.
They're together, and then they ended up spending forever together. Okay, so I how that happens, I'm not going to give away any of that kind of stuff. But so we got into it, right? We watched through the whole first season, got to the end. There was the closure on the end of the first season. And then I went and looked up, and it was like, well, this was a series from 2 years ago, and they're not producing any more episodes.
Yeah, that's the worst.
I'm like, what the?
No, this is like any new thing on Netflix.
No.
I'm like, Swedish. Like, this isn't some new show. They just stole it from some Swedish television channel. Like,
I was watching. So I was
Yeah.
desperately searching for something to watch today, and I found this. I don't even remember what the heck it was. It looked like it was modestly interesting. And I turned it on, and it was literally like, John, you'll appreciate this. I don't know if anybody else like it. It was like an old karate movie. Like the voice was totally out of sync, and I'm like, what is going on right now?
I don't know what you're saying.
It's going on right now.
It
was like, I'm like, what am I watching? So then I did a little digging, and Michael, you're right. It was like some Norwegian series from 5 years ago. I'm like, no. I'm out on this. I'm so dredging the bottom of the barrel for things to watch right now. I'm like, I got nothing.
Have you watched What We Do in the Shadows yet?
No, maybe I'll put that on.
Gotta go watch it.
I can't find it.
It's on it's FX on Hulu. At least. So.
I don't have Hulu, but I
do have Hulu,
FX.
and you know what? I never watch it because I hate their
it.
UI so much that I can't bring.
They changed it, Ian.
No, it's still terrible though.
No, they just changed it.
Again, yesterday.
A couple weeks ago.
It's still
3 weeks ago. They changed it. But anyway, whatever. Go watch FX.
Okay, what's it called?
What We Do in the Shadows.
Okay.
It's
I like
a
FX
documentary on vampires living in Staten Island. It's honestly one of the funniest things on television today.
Well, as long as we're offering up options, if you have not yet watched, and I apologize, please understand the spelling on this is different than the word that it sounds like.
Oh, I know.
If you have not yet watched Schitt's Creek, make it a priority. Make it
episode 2 right now of that. Yes,
it is the best show.
It is literally the best thing I've seen.
And let me just tell you, for those who haven't seen it, it's a slow burn.
It is. You got to hang with it. Yeah,
you got to get 4 episodes.
Right.
Kind of like The Office.
Right.
You know what it is? Honestly,
when The Office started, it was horrible.
They had
to, halfway through the first season, it was magic.
Right.
If you don't dislike them in the beginning, the show doesn't work.
Right.
If you and John, you haven't gotten far enough along yet. If you're only on season 2, so I won't wreck it for you.
It's still funny, and I've heard of things that happen.
But you can't. They have to make you really dislike these people in order for the evolution to work. It is.
No, I get it.
It is absolutely brilliant.
Shows where I would be laughing so hard, I had to pause because I could not breathe.
Same thing. And I just turned my friend onto it. I told him, I said, dude, you got to watch this show. So he started watching it. What's today? Monday. He started watching it on Saturday. He's already midway through season 2. And he messaged me last night. He's like, Kara, which is his wife. He's like, Kara literally just had to pause the show for 5 minutes because she was laughing so hard. I mean, but the thing is, I love the laughs are great. I mean, they are, but actually later on, it turns into so much more that. It's not just a comedy. It's really it's got some amazing. It's got some amazing, sort of.
I have a magic drink fairy bringing me drinks.
I was actually going to try and text somebody and see if I could get them.
That's very nice. Actually, you know what? It's all just previewed too, and was not too bad. The first episode, Star Trek Lower Decks. That's on CBS.
I've heard a lot about that.
It's a cartoon series of the.
Oh, that preview for that. Is it good?
it was pretty amusing for the first episode. Yeah, it's about the folks that actually run the Enterprise or whatever, or the ship, whatever it's called, the starship. Not the captain, not all the big characters that you know, but the ones that
Like
are
all
in the
the
lower decks,
unimportant people.
the unimportant characters.
So it's basically Star Trek with all the red shirts.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, is there anybody left at the end of the episode? Or
But it's cartoon.
They all
Cartoon.
just die
It's
every
cartoon.
episode.
It is a cartoon, so it literally it's a cartoon. So
The other thing I'm excited
animated.
to watch on Disney Plus is Howard. New
oh yeah,
Oh
I've heard
yeah.
that's very good.
I want to see that. That looks really great. There is a new season of Mandalorian coming out. Like it's
When?
done.
Because then I'll have to sign up
Oh
for
yeah,
Disney
that
Plus
was
again.
like one of the few things that they had.
Yeah, got it
in
like
the
in
can
the
already
can.
before
Yeah,
COVID
it
happened.
just needed to be edited. Bear with me, John. I'll get you the release date in just a second.
Okay, so but we do have other stuff to go over too. Related.
Yeah.
Muppets on Disney Plus.
It was horrible.
October,
I
John.
lasted like
It's
10
in
minutes,
October.
and I was just like, "This is garbage! Like garbage."
Yeah, it was unwatchable. Like it was. I could not believe that you could take beloved characters with such a sort of ready-made, like, and make them just so horrible. It was
really
Oh.
low.
Jen,
I couldn't figure out what age group they were trying to make the show for. Like, it didn't seem like it was for little kids, and I wasn't quite sure it was for grown-ups. I don't know. It was weird.
Well, this is the thing that Muppets has always worked, right? Because it was really for adults. Like
a Pixar. It's a
But it
Pixar.
played
It's
on
like a
different
Pixar
levels.
movie,
Right,
right? Like
yeah.
it works on two different levels. You know,
Right.
you can watch them, or The Simpsons, even, or
Right.
Phineas and Ferb. You know, like it worked. But it's this
Bugs
one.
Bunny.
I don't even know who would watch it, and like my kids, watched it, and they were like, "Wow, this is."
There's like a whole. I watched the episodes today just so we could talk about it, but there was like a whole segment of Kermit is this master photo bomber.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was just like,
yeah. And it was like not.
Okay.
I mean,
What
it
a
was like,
character.
it maybe had like 8 seconds of sort of like because like Sam the Eagle made a few funny faces and you were kind of like but like it went on way too long and like why is Kermit a photo bomber, like
So-
where did that come from?
so-
Like
People said not enough Kermit.
Yeah, we talked
Oh,
about
yeah?
this a little
Or
bit.
too much
We have our
Kermit.
little podcast chat that we on the podcast talk about this sort of stuff. And I think it was you, Ian, that said, "Well, how do you go wrong with this kind of stuff?" And I said, pretty much since Disney has bought the Muppets, they've
Yeah.
gone wrong with them.
well actually I disagree. I thought
Except
the Muppet
for-
movie what was the one that was like
oh, where he has an evil arch twin.
no
or
I didn't see
arch-
that one,
Oh, I
the
like
one
that
before
I like
that.
that one.
Yeah.
But what was the one before that with the little, new Muppet with what the heck was that one?
Oh, the little guy. What's his
I don't
name?
know.
Okay, this is embarrassing.
The
It was
mini
like the
Kermit.
Muppet movie or something. The Muppets. I think it was just called The Muppets. That one was really good. That was a really good movie.
They've
the
struggled.
one-
I think they really have struggled with what to do with the Muppets since they bought
Yeah.
them way back when.
Well,
I mean, there
you
have
know-
been a couple of successes, although I will say in the theme park, like in the Liberty Square show that was going
Yeah,
on.
That
that's
was so
cute.
Like,
cute.
It could
Yeah.
not have been any better or more on point for what
Yeah.
the Muppets were. So it's like, why can't we produce a Muppet show?
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. Like, how
That's
can you get that so
better.
right
Like,
and this stuff
yeah,
like
that-
so wrong?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I
Like,
think the problem is if you're under 40, you don't care about the Muppets. I think that the Muppets is for a generation that
Nostalgia.
but that's Disney's fault then, because they've owned the franchise for years and they've just not done enough with it. I mean, where recently, they've tried to reboot Mickey Mouse and things like that, where
And it's worked. My
Yeah.
kids love Mickey Mouse.
yeah, the
my
new
son likes
the new Mickey
one.
shorts are actually very good. I went back and watched a lot of them and I was shocked. I thought, wow, this is good stuff. But they really have. I think they failed.
I mean, they've owned the Muppets for almost 20 years.
Long
I
time.
wonder who's in charge
Well,
of
I feel long.
no,
No?
what would Jim Henson
They
do,
bought them in.
you know?
They bought them in 2004,
Yeah,
February of 2004.
but
It would
but
be
but,
interesting to see a
but
behind
Jim
the
Henson
how
passed
they
right
make
after that.
Muppet
though.
stuff because
Yeah.
since I watched this Frozen, the making of Frozen 2,
Oh, so good.
like one of the best documentaries I've ever
Yes,
seen. Now
so
I'm like
good.
obsessed with the behind the scenes Disney stuff. I would like to see how they do that for Muppets, because if they didn't do the same, like if they don't take the same like painstaking detail that they did, this is why it wouldn't work, right? Like it's crazy.
Well, I think the biggest thing for me with this Muppets thing was that it like the Muppets had a formula, right? Like all Muppets, they're like absurd humor, right? Like that's kind of what they do. It's just absurdity. You know, there's like a guy who has boomerang fish, and Gonzo is like, you don't even know what he is. The Swedish Chef was on. I've never in my entire life not thought the Swedish Chef was funny. Or not thought the Swedish Chef was unfunny. Sorry. I always laughed hysterically at the Swedish Chef. He was on in some cooking segment that was just like a cooking segment that went horribly wrong. It was weird. So not funny.
Oh, no.
I'm going to have to watch this now.
I just don't understand how you can take a formula that is so tried and true and just get it so wrong. I mean, it wasn't just like, oh, it wasn't good. It wasn't good for the Muppets. It was just bad.
I felt like the show was directed maybe towards like 14-year-olds kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe it was almost
weird,
like it was
like,
almost
oh,
like
photobombing and like, we're gonna make
social
a
media
website and like that kind of stuff.
And like photobomb. Everyone knows that would be Miss Piggy.
Right.
No,
yeah, absolutely.
But I'm like, there's no way my 14-year-old's gonna enjoy this.
Or maybe Animal, because at least he's funny. Like, you know, there's always like a scene where Animal ends it by, I don't know.
It's funny. I'm going to agree with Michael, though. If you are a Disney fan and you have not seen the Frozen 2 making of documentary, oh my gosh, I cried real tears watching that documentary a couple of times. Yeah, I did too. It was one of the best things I have seen on Disney Plus since Disney Plus started. It was fantastic.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, the Disney Plus shows do tend to tug your heartstrings because I watched
the Imagineers.
The Imagineers series, and I couldn't even make it through the first one without like tearing up.
This was almost better than that. It was so good.
When I finished that documentary, like I immediately watched both of them back to back.
Yep,
like,
I did
it
too.
was because then it took on this whole different. Like as much as I love the music and you know, gay people love Frozen, whatever, but it took
straight
it to
people
such
do
a
too.
different.
I was going to say straight people do too. I mean,
it took it to such a different level. Like it was crazy.
Like it was so emotional, and I understood more about what they were trying to tell us. And I don't know. Every time I watch it now, I get like all the feels just from watching the documentary.
So what was your thought on Frozen 2? I mean, I just watched it for the first time like a couple weeks ago.
I liked it more. I liked it more than the first one.
Well, I wouldn't say I liked it more than the first one.
Wow.
But it was a very worthy sequel. I thought
it was more adult. It just had more more of everything. It wasn't silly or there was nothing silly about it to me. It was just more of an adult movie.
But it was still funny. Like it. I don't know. They just did a really good job of it.
Yeah,
and
it was good. So good.
Yeah. If you watch the documentary, you're gonna have a huge appreciation for it, for sure.
But what I thought was unique about the Frozen sequel, I specifically said before I even saw it, Frozen's one of those movies that you can't make a good sequel to because it's just too high of a mountain to climb.
Right.
Like the first one was too good. There's no way you're going to make a sequel that is worthy, but they did. And I was really surprised because honestly, I was sort of poised to like, I wouldn't say I was poised to hate it, but I was definitely going in very skeptical. Like, I don't see how this can be anywhere near as good as the original.
I think the song where Kristoff's singing and then there's like all the reindeer heads and stuff. That was a little weird.
Was it kind of like in the Lion King when you know, I just can't wait to be king, and you know,
it was like that.
No,
the giraffe heads are spinning and.
It was like an REO Speedwagon song.
It's like
it was like a
Mr. Brass Bonanza.
It was very 80s MTV.
It's an 80s power ballad, and it was magical.
Yep.
Oh,
it was like it could have been so bad. It could have gone so wrong, but it worked. I don't know how they managed it.
Well, because they're all the other thing is they're all such good singers, right? It's not like some nobody's singing it. It's like someone who's won a Tony, for God's sake. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy.
Nice.
And now is doing like AT&T commercials.
They got bills to pay.
Right.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess you can't work at anything else, right?
No.
Like she doesn't. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So in other
Poor
news,
Idina.
we were talking about this before the show. So Disney apparently is rebranding 20th Century Fox TV and other TV studios. They're foregoing the Fox in the name of TV studios, 20th Century Fox Television and Fox 21 Television Studios, as well as rebranding ABC Studios. 20th Century Fox Television is becoming...
This is hard to believe.
20th Television.
Drum roll.
20th Television. That's
we're
what
not one.
That's
we're
what
20.
we went with. Yeah. While Fox 21 Television Studios is changing to Touchstone Television, Disney is also merging ABC Studios with ABC Signature, its subsidiary, to a joint ABC Signature. I don't even know what that.
Whatever
means.
that means.
Yeah.
So
I guess it's just going to be ABC Signature and 20th Television.
20th
I mean, really?
Television is
And
really
they're going with Touchstone Television, which is bringing back the Touchstone.
Touchstone. I thought they dissolved that brand.
Yeah, so did I. But I mean,
well, now they probably need it again so they can have like questionable content without having to have Disney on it.
Well, because they with Fox, they inherited all that FX content, which is definitely.
I'm confused because
because all of that is
I was
actually
wondering.
good television.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, Mike. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine. You're just
but you just look grouchy, so it's fine.
You just look, it's
well, that's
good.
what I always look like.
Kinda looks like
it's my
you.
resting grouch face. My laptop's all frozen up. It's really weird. I don't know.
We
Chrome
can hear
is,
you though. It sounds fine. We're almost out anyway. In other news,
there we go.
There you go. Formerly known as the Disney Parks Moms Panel, it's being rebranded as
we don't listen to it anymore.
Plan Disney.
Oh.
So they've changed the name from.
Well, good,
Disney
because
Parks
then
Moms.
maybe they can have people on there that aren't just moms, and it'll be a
Right?
little bit more
Thank
diverse
you.
and have something to do with all of Disney, as opposed to like 800 people in Georgia. Anyway, that's all.
No offense, Janet.
No offense.
I
to
don't
the
live in Georgia anymore. It's okay.
I know, but you're from. Georgia,
I'm at the
so-
border of Georgia right
Well,
now.
I mean, it's just like whenever
I
you
get
read,
stuck with
whenever you
Rolling
read
Stone
any
in
of the
Savannah.
stuff on the Disney Moms blog, I was always just
Right.
like, it has nothing. It was just a lot of stuff that was nice.
The poor dad that got thrown in, in the middle of it, it'd be like there'd be
I always
20
thought
moms
that was
and
just
there'd
a
be one
weird
dad.
thing from the start. Like,
Well, I didn't understand
from the
why
very
it was
beginning.
not the Disney fan panel or something like that. Where
Yeah,
it
was just really. I think they thought Disney moms were like a thing.
Oh, Hana
because-
means family. It doesn't mean mom.
It doesn't
Oh,
mean
well.
mom.
Right.
I know.
Exactly.
I mean, I always get mad at that nursing home thing that's called a place for mom. Like, I'm like, what? So I'm just not
you get
invited.
mad at that?
Yeah, that's rude. What do you mean a
Ian's
place
yelling
for
at
Ian
the
mom?
TV.
doesn't get to go.
Well,
It
what-
shouldn't
I just
be
can't go,
named
I
a
guess.
place for mom.
They don't
What
want me
about
there.
Dad?
He gets
No.
angry about a lot of
I
things.
Not
know,
a place for
geez, Ian.
parents, like a place for
Wow.
mom. Just mom.
I think
No
it'll
dads allowed.
see how the ex-moms panel evolves,
Yeah.
and I think it could be actually good.
Yeah, I agree.
I heard all kinds of nasty things about the moms panel. Like it was like this really poisonous, like
I don't know.
Mm.
That's not got there. We
Mean
don't know.
Girls Club.
Yeah, no.
We don't know. We just have
So-
no idea.
We all know how
I just always thought it was weird that they didn't have like more dad, like they didn't care about both. I mean, there were a lot of dads that were, raising their kids too and stuff like that, wanting to take them to Disney, wanted to share the experiences. And I just thought it was weird to kind of exclude dads. And,
I agree. Yeah, I thought
mean-
that was odd as well.
kind of a strange thing always. So I kind of like the move.
You
Kudos.
don't have to be a mom or a dad to offer good information about
No.
a trip to Disney.
right.
Just
And
Plan
plus,
Disney.
out
Yeah, you
there-
could be a single parent. Doesn't matter. You could be married without kids. Doesn't
it
matter.
can be two women,
Whatever.
two men.
Yeah.
Like there's lots of
Who
people who
cares?
get permission about taking their
Yeah.
children to Disney.
Exactly. I mean, we're all Disney fans. The Disney fan panel. Whatever.
I am
mean,
not one of
There
those
you go.
people, but I will be happy to give advice.
Michael, it's what we built the internet community of tomorrow on.
That's
Oh.
right.
I'm
All
here
the
to tell
people,
you
all those people I met on the internet.
all the feels. Yeah, I know.
Oh,
Right?
I'm here with all those people I met on the internet.
Hey, speaking of which, so I'm going to tie it all in because we're about out of time. So, recently I mentioned that that I was really bad about pushing the audio of these new video podcasts, since we started doing these, out to the audio side of things in iTunes and, Google Play and all that kind of stuff. So recently I caught up and I published like 5 or 6 back episodes, and I had like 4 or 5 people that had actually emailed me and said, we listened to the podcast. We really wish you would push them out. Haven't seen an episode since December. I was like, oh,
oops.
You're like, well, this is awkward.
I'm gonna blame that on moving and COVID. But anyway, so
everything on COVID.
So yeah, the other day as I was going through this, and I mean, here was like a typical note, and this was from Marvin, and Marvin said, "Hello, John, longtime INTERCOT user and podcast listener. Last podcast posted was done in December. Is that the last one you've done? Where can I find the recent podcast?" Like, he's not even aware of the whole Facebook podcast thing. They sure make my hour-and-a-half round trip commute to work much more enjoyable.
Oh,
okay,
nice.
well, that's cool, right?
Okay.
And I just sent him a note and I said, I'm working on it. And then finally sent him an update and said, hey, hope you noticed the podcasts are now online via audio as well, right? And I got this note back, which completely blew me away. It said, thank you so much, John. Appreciate all the time it takes you to move the podcasts, and much more than you will ever know. My family has an inside joke about, quote, always trust John when we were unsure of something at the parks or doing something that you have recommended on the podcast. This is what got me. Literally, I almost started tearing up when I read it. To my children, you're just as much a part of their Disney lexicon as Walt himself. Keep up the great work. And
so John has now risen to the level of Walt.
Dude, you know what?
I'm just Walt. I can't even tell the difference between the two of you.
First of all, thank you to everybody who makes up the internet community of tomorrow. Janet, you're included. You've been with us as long as just about anybody.
Yeah.
Yay.
The folks on the website, the folks who do the podcast, the moderators who've moderated the site through the years, the people that have stuck with it, the friends we've made, the romances that have blossomed, the whole 9 yards, everything as a result of this silly.
Yeah, we got like married couples, like plenty of married internet couples.
We do. I mean, between that,
INTERCOT
run Disney races, I mean, all the stuff, the meets that we've done over the years, the ICOT 5, the ICOT 10, the 15, the 20. I mean,
I'm 25 in 2 years. Amanda just put a comment about it.
I know. The bottom line is, from the bottom of my heart, guys, seriously, I have enjoyed doing. The reason why I keep doing this and is because of people like you see on the screen here, the folks that have been on the podcast before, the folks that are on the site, all of you that come to the site. It's just really made it worth it to continue all these years. I mean, who thought, what started with a meta tag, as Mr. O'Brien would say, 20 some odd years ago, what are we at? 97. So 23 years later, would still be cranking. Right? Yeah, would still be cranking along. I mean, so I'm incredibly blessed to have met some of the best people in the world. And when I get emails like this, it's like, it brings it all back together. It's such a great thing. You all are wonderful. And I hope we can continue doing this for a while longer, at least. But group hug. So, I mean, seriously, it's just one of those things that it just made me feel really good. And quite frankly, that was one of about 5 notes. So that I got about the podcast and folks that listen to it and like sharing their time with all of us. And they love hearing from you. So, Janet, it was great to have you on.
It was so awesome.
Thanks for the invite.
Like I said, I mean, it literally had been how many years since we had?
A really long time.
Probably about 18 years.
And you take wonderful pictures, by the way.
Oh, thanks. And if anybody has any questions, if anyone has questions or things that they would like to know, we're headed back on Sunday for 6 nights at the Polynesian. So I'll be happy to post answers to questions, videos, pictures, whatever you guys want to see.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely incredible. We've got, hold on, here we go. We got some comments. Craig,
nice.
We love all of you guys. Chris Pace saying he commutes and listen to several different podcasts while we're driving. I would hope we're one of them. We've got some future podcast topics. I got 25, got to start planning, and a big heart for the man.
Nice.
Hey, Chris, long time no see.
Yep. So, yeah, folks, I mean, definitely keep following along with us on the social medias right over here, right there. Yeah, that's it. And be sure and listen to the back episodes of the podcast. If you haven't, there's more than 10 years of them there. Join us on the discussion boards or just follow us on social media at INTERCOT pretty much everywhere you can look on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or even on the YouTubes now, because we are broadcasting live to YouTube as well as Facebook right now. So on behalf of Janet, Michael, Ian, Jen the Canadian, I am still John along with Stadler and Waldorf. Thanks for joining us. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye now.
Love you guys. You're awesome.
Yes, absolutely. Agreed. Oh, and now we have to go through the longest. I started it earlier, Michael.
That's what we need to fix before 25.
It's almost done. Here we go.
Sorry.
Ready? Big finish, everyone. Here we go. Bum, ba-da-dum, 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 bum, bum. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.